Hello, staff and students of the International School of Bellevue. I'm so excited that you've come out tonight to learn a little bit about what you can expect in the Ecuador and Amazon. My name is Tyrell, and I'm a school engagement coordinator at Bellevue. Tonight, I'm going to take you on a journey through the Amazon. I'm going to, of course, tell you what you can expect on your trip. I'm going to touch a little bit about Bellevue and the history of Free the Children, and I'll talk a little bit about my experience with Bellevue. Me to We is a social enterprise, and Free the Children is a charity. Me to We was designed to support the work of Free the Children. So not only do we send volunteers to Free the Children communities around the world, we also donate half of our net profits annually to those Free the Children development projects.
You may have heard the story before, but I get so inspired every time I tell it. This is Iqbal. He was born in 1983 in a small town in Pakistan. This is Iqbal. When Iqbal was 4, he was sold to the carpet mafia to pay off a debt of $16. He'd work tirelessly for hours on end, tying thousands and thousands of knots. This is Craig. He was born in 1982 in Thornhill, Ontario. When he was 4, he used to love riding his tricycle up and down the driveway. This is Iqbal. When Iqbal was 10, he broke free of child slavery and traveled the world speaking out against the carpet mafia. This is Craig. When Craig was 10, he was learning his times tables, playing soccer, he was hanging out with friends after school. When Iqbal was 12, and when Craig was 12, he read this article. The article that changed his life. The article that inspired him to go to school, challenge his classmates, gather a group of 12-year-olds that eventually started Free the Children. The article that started him on a path, started him on a journey. A journey that eventually took him to Bangladesh, took him to India, it took him to Pakistan to see Iqbal's grave. A journey that inspired him to take that group of 12-year-olds, take Free the Children, and grow it into an international charity. Craig's journey was the inspiration for Me to We trips. So on a Me to We trip, you're going to get to go volunteer in a developing community, change that community's future. You're going to get to immerse yourself in this beautiful new culture and develop yourself as a leader. In 2014 alone, 104 projects were completed, and volunteers were crucial in the completion of those projects. So schools were built, teachers' accommodations were built, hospitals were built. So many amazing projects that would not have been completed without volunteers like you. Not only did the communities benefit from students traveling, but they also did as well. We find that students that go on a Me to We trip come back more confident to stand up against issues that they're passionate about, so they don't have to pick up boxing gloves. They can find solutions to those problems. They also value their education way more. Not only do they value it more, but they can use this experience on university applications. And even going beyond university, employers love to see a Me to We experience on a resume because it means you have so many of those 21st century skills that are hard to develop in the classroom, like problem solving, teamwork, leadership, some critical skills that you'll develop on a Me to We trip.
Now, let's take a look at your trip to Ecuador. Free the Children has been working in Ecuador since 1999. We started working in the Chimborazo province up in the Andes Mountains with the Quechua people. We worked with them for several reasons, mainly because they don't have access to the things that we take for such granted here in Canada. There was a system called the Hacienda system that was prevalent throughout Ecuador. The Spanish, when they colonized the country, they pushed the indigenous people up into the mountains and out into the Amazon rainforest, where, again, they didn't have access to things like school, good schoolrooms, to clean water. And that's why we were working with these people, to help them get access to those things, to help them get a better education, to help them break that cycle of poverty, to help them better their lives. Your first day, you'll fly into Quito, where you'll be met by your Me to We facilitators. These people will be with you throughout your entire journey. You'll also be met by your jungle guide and driver. Your Midway facilitators are more than tour guides. These are the people that are there to help you make meaning of your trip. So these are the people you want to go to with the tough questions. If you see something you don't understand, you're confused, you don't know why this is happening, go to them. If they don't have the answer, they'll be able to help you find it. They're also the people that you go to if you're not feeling well, or if you're just you're not feeling comfortable. They'll help you make not only meaning of your trip, but help you feel comfortable in your surroundings. As I said, your first day will be spent in Quito. This is really to give you a chance to acclimatize to this new country that you're in. It also gives you a chance to learn about the history of Ecuador, learn about some of the issues that are prevalent throughout the country. You'll get to explore Quito and Old Town, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A beautiful place, some amazing architecture. This is just a great time to get used to the country, learn about it before you make your trip out to the Amazon. After spending time in Quito, this is when you're going to travel out to the Amazon rainforest. We've been working in the Amazon for 4 years now with 4 different communities with the same Quechua people that we work with up in the Andes Mountains. They heard about the amazing work that was being done there, and they asked us if we could come help them develop their communities and help them break the cycle of poverty. So as I said, we were in 4 communities, and we've just seen incredible work and incredible partnerships blossom over those 4 years we've been working with these people. It's a beautiful culture that you're just going to be immersed in, and the Amazon rainforest is equally as beautiful.
They say that life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. My Midway trip to Ecuador proved that to be true. Oh, this is hard work. What do you expect me to do with that?
You have to eat it.
Eat it. I saw and experienced things that I would have never found at home, and therefore learned life lessons that I'll keep with me forever. Yeah, muy bien. We always think that we have time, but the time for adventure, the time for change, and the time to live your life is now.
On your journey to the Amazon, you are going to take a bus ride through the mountains. It's a beautiful drive, definitely a place to bring your camera. And eventually you'll come to the end of the road and you'll see a long motorized canoe. That is how you'll be getting to your accommodations. So you'll unpack from the bus, everybody will load their bags into the boat, you'll all get in, and you'll be skimming down the Napo River for about 15, maybe 20 minutes until you see this little staircase tuck out of the rainforest. It'll slowly get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you're right beside it and you'll be looking up at the Mingo Lodge. This is your home away from home. This is where you're going to reflect on your trip. This is where you're going to have most of your meals, and this is just a great place to relax and just be surrounded by the rainforest. Some more pictures of your accommodations. So this is where you'll be having your meals, have a little time for relaxing in the hammock. All the bedrooms are gender divided, so of course they come with your sheets and pillows, everything that you'd expect in a Western style hotel. Fresh towels, every room has its bathroom, and each cabin will have anywhere between 4 to 8 people in them. Now for the best part. You'll always remember your first time that you enter the community that you'll be volunteering in. You'll always remember the kids that run up to you, say buenos dias, buenos noches, depending on when you arrive, or hola, the kids just running up, smiling, the families welcoming you, so happy to see more volunteers coming to help them develop their communities. It'll be something that you carry with you for the rest of your life, and it might be something that is a little bit shocking if you've never seen poverty like this, or if you never have had this experience on an international development trip. So just be prepared for some of the things that you'll be seeing, and be prepared for an amazing greeting from some incredible community members. We're working with these community members to help them break the cycle of poverty, and a big factor in that is education. Schoolrooms in the Amazon are typically poorly built and are not very conducive to learning. A lot of them have tin roofs, and it is called the rainforest for a reason. It rains a lot, so when it rains, the tin roofs are very loud and learning just becomes very difficult. So we're working with these community members to build schools that are more conducive to learning, so that kids want to go to school, so that they can learn and that they can develop themselves, so that they can go out and help their families break the cycle of poverty and create a better life for themselves and for generations to come. This is an example of a schoolroom that was built entirely by volunteers and community members in partnership. So as you can see, it is a beautiful structure. It's a source of pride for the community members, and you'll see the roof is still tin, but now we have thermoacoustic roofs, so when it rains, it's silent. They have beautiful windows, it's breezy, so in those hot Amazonian days, the classroom's not too hot, and it's so much more conducive to learning. And now school kids love coming here to learn, and they're learning way more than they had in the past. Education isn't the only issue in the Amazon. If kids are sick, they're not going to go to school. If they don't have clean water to drink, they're not going to go to school. If they don't have food, if they do go to school, it'll be hard for them to pay attention because they're just thinking about where their next meal is going to come from. If their family needs them to stay home and work on the farm or help with housework, they're not going to go to school. So your volunteer work could be helping any one of our 5 pillars. It could be building a school. It could be building a teacher's accommodations. It could be working on a clean water project. It could be working on a health clinic that we are building in Mondania so that 16 communities now have a hospital that they can go to, whether it's birthing a child or they're sick or a broken limb. They now have good doctors so that they can be ready and healthy to go to school. So your project, it could be digging ditches, it could be mixing cement, it could be sanding, it could be anything that is the community needs you to do at the time. That's basically what you'll be working on. So it'll be labor heavy, labor intensive, but you'll just feel so rewarded and so great after all the amazing work you've done and seeing these projects get completed. When I was in the Amazon over the summer, we were working on a clean water project. So we were installing a clean water system in a community that currently drinks mostly polluted water. So a lot of the community members are sick with parasites and diarrhea, which keeps them out of school. We're now installing this clean water project that these houses in this community have never had running water before. Now they're going to have clean water directly to their house so that they have good, clean drinking water, so that they're not dehydrated, so they're not getting sick. And it's just an inspiring and amazing thing to see these projects get completed. So you'll be a part of something amazing, and you'll literally be changing people's lives. One of the highlights when I ask people when they come back from their Bellevue trip, when I came back from my own trip, it's always making new friends. It's making that connection with the local boy or the local girl, playing soccer with these kids, making a connection on the soccer pitch, making a connection on the build site. Maybe it's a classmate that you were not friends with before the trip, and you've become such amazing friends and created an amazing bond. Making new friends is one of the highlights on these amazing journeys. For me, it was Kevin. Kevin was our jungle guide. He had grown up in the Yasuni National Forest and had a very difficult life. At a very young age, he was displaced from his home because his family needed to sell their land to the oil companies for a very small sum of money because they were in dire needs of food. So they lost their home, and he actually was able to pick himself up out of poverty, get a good education, study English, become a jungle guide, which is very difficult to do. And he had such an amazing story, an amazing time with us, amazing time just sharing his experience growing up in the rainforest. So you'll have your own jungle guide on this trip, and this could be your highlight from the trip, but I know I'll never forget Kevin, and you'll likely never forget your jungle guide. You're going to be immersed in this beautiful Quechua culture. We've been working with the Quechua people for many years, and we've learned how amazing and how strong a community these people have. They have a word called minga in Ecuador and in the Quechua language. Minga roughly translates to me to we. Ecuador holds a big spot in Free the Children and Me to We's heart, and that's because it was really the birthplace of Me to We. Minga means when the community members put down what they're doing for personal gain and come together as a community to lift the community up. So community members will come and work on a clean water project. They're not getting paid for it. They're just doing it because they know the community will be better for it. They could come together and work on this school building project because no, they're not getting paid, but they know if they have a school in that community, kids are going to get an education and the kids are going to have a better life. That means the community is going to be stronger in the future. You'll get to participate in the Minga, whatever project you're working on. Be sure that there'll be community members, there'll be kids, there'll be lots of people out there helping you. It's just amazing, this word Minga. It doesn't really translate to English, but it gives you an idea of what the Quechua culture is like. Your jungle guide is going to take you on a night and day hike in the Amazon rainforest. So he's going to show you bugs. He's going to show you plants and trees and birds. Your jungle guide is incredible. He knows the name of every single thing in the rainforest. So if you point to something, he'll be able to name it. I dare you to try and stump him. Try, but I'm sure that you won't. You'll get to also explore some of the traditions of the Amazon. You'll get to meet a local women's group that makes artisan projects. So they make bags literally out of leaves. And they're amazing bags that look like they've been crafted with sewing machines and all kinds of intricate details. But really, it's these women turning a leaf into a bag or these beads into an amazing necklace. There's some amazing things that they're doing and some amazing stories that will come from this women's group that you meet, and you'll actually get to try your own hand at some of the traditions of the Amazon. You'll also get to use some tools of the Amazon. So you'll visit a shaman and learn some of the tools that he's used to protect his family, protect his land. And so in this picture you see a young man getting ready to use a blow dart, shooting at old fruit, of course, but it's very difficult. I wasn't able to hit the fruit, but I had an 11-year-old on my trip over the summer that hit it 3 times in a row. So it's a pretty fun competition and a great way to just learn a little bit about the Amazon in a fun and active way. Ecuador is known to have the best cacao in the entire world. Cacao, cocoa, chocolate. So you'll get to go to a local cooking class and where you'll pick some cacao from the local farm. You'll buy it from him and you'll make your own chocolate. So good. You will love this chocolate. You also saw in the video some tasty little squirming bugs. You'll get to try those either live or cooked. However you prefer them. I prefer them cooked. Some people think that they taste like bacon cooked, but who knows? Hey, if you want to try it raw, be my guest. Throughout the trip, you'll be seeing a lot of different issues and social problems. Every day, you'll go through a different leadership or social issues workshop. So that's learning about the world, learning about yourself, developing yourself as a leader, and learning from your peers. It's a great place to ask a lot of questions and definitely utilize your jungle guide and get his perspective because he'll help you think about the world and your environment in a new way. I wouldn't do this trip justice if I didn't touch on safety. So parents, we completely respect and value the responsibility that you've given us when you send your child on a Me2We trip. And that's why in over 12 years of running trips, we haven't had one major safety or security incidents. And that's because of the proactive approach we take to safety. From having a full risk management team dedicated to your child's safety, to having highly trained facilitators with a 24/7 risk management phone, to having really close relationships to all the clinics that we work with in the community. So in Mondania, when you're traveling in the Amazon, we have a clinic that is a 7-minute walk away. So if there is anything that happens in the Amazon, we have a clinic to take care of you. To having your child registered with a respective embassy in the country, to having a full in-country team dedicated to the safety of your student or child. We're really proud of our safety standards, and if there's any questions in regards to safety, feel free to ask them. I would love to be able to answer them and make you feel more comfortable sending your child on a Me2We trip. That brings me back to the question I asked initially, and that's what's your legacy? A Me2We trip is a great place to bring questions. What inspires me? What motivates me? What do I want to do after high school? What do I want to study in university? These answers tend to reveal themselves in very unique ways, and people often have that aha moment on a trip or shortly after. So definitely bring lots of questions and be inquisitive and just be open to this amazing experience. So some more logistical pieces about the trip. The dates are March 26th to April 2nd, and that's an 8-day trip for a total cost of $3,230, or if we get 20 students signed up, the total cost will be $2,940. That's because cost is spread over more students. The total cost includes pretty well everything: airfare, accommodations, meals, snacks, purified bottled water, transportation, Midway facilitators, your in-country team, and your jungle guide, all activities. The only things it doesn't cover are travel, medical insurance, visas, vaccinations, and spending money. Spending money being anything you want to buy, like souvenirs for your family. So some important deadlines: to reserve your spot on the trip, $500 is due by November 15th. And then registration will happen 3 weeks after. That's just submitting your passports, filling out some paperwork, and final payment won't happen until December 18th.
Through these volunteer experiences, it's not just a one-time interaction with the community, but Free the Children has worked now for 20 years, and through a development model that is built around community empowerment with 5 pillars: education, clean water, healthcare, food security, and small job creation. A model that's designed to ensure that communities never need charity again. So while long after your trips come to a close, the local development workers keep empowering the mothers who keep running the projects. They keep working with the men and the children to ensure those walls of the schools are finished, to ensure the health projects are provided, to ensure that that community continues the transformation. And we hope that you too will continue to share stories of what you experienced. Continue to share the lessons of international development, to talk about how it is possible to end poverty in our lifetime through smart development policies. I want to say thank you for being an advocate for these communities, and I hope that the stories will stay in your heart, maybe influence what you choose to study later on in life, maybe even bring you back to one of the communities so that years later you can see the transformation that you helped to be part of. And I hope that other friends from your school, other students will continue to join us, other teachers, to keep that link alive to that community and to share the stories in the years that follow. Thank you for being part of the Free the Children and the Midway family. Thank you for choosing to make a difference. And thank you for giving back in a smart, impactful development model that's designed to ensure that the legacy of your trip continues for generations ahead.